That's good. All right, so I'm going to put my back to you. I'm really sorry.
That's okay. You're looking at your best work.
I would rather face them, though. Is there any way you guys can set up the camera this way so I can look at the people?
What about if the people come behind here?
No? I like seeing the people.
Yeah.
I like seeing the people.
Who do you want to see? Come
I
on.
want to see the people. I want to see my members.
No, but then you won't be on.
Then I won't be on camera.
TV.
Okay, well, my phone is in the car.
Is the car unlocked?
It's unlocked. All right, so here we go. My apologies for the back, but it's great to see you on camera as well. All right, so good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for coming and attending our press conference, our first ever since COVID, right? So this is great. Teachers know that socially, emotionally, and academically, children need to be in school, which is why they have been in school all year. Let us begin by taking a journey from last spring when we first went fully remote until the present. Last spring when the governor and Westchester County gave the order to shut our buildings, it was devastating to everyone. Students, families, educators, people within our own personal circles as well. We did not have the necessary resources that we need to provide the online instruction. Many of our students had limited access to devices and internet. People lost their jobs. We lost family members and friends to COVID. Through it all, our teachers, our Yonkers Federation of Teachers members were heroes. Collectively, we donated $40,000 worth of food. Collectively, we donated over 200 backpacks filled with materials and supplies. We donated over 200 hygiene kits to families who needed it. We met with students in parking lots to provide instruction to those who did not have or had limited access to internet and devices. We visited homes of our undocumented families who were too afraid to show up to the grab-and-go lunches and breakfasts. We supported our students, we supported their families, and we supported each other emotionally. And when there was very little guidance from the district, we taught each other how to navigate remote teaching and learning and how to survive. We worked tirelessly throughout the summer to seek out training, to learn how to perfect our craft. Many of you worked the summer programs to offer additional assistance and supports to students who may have fallen behind and emotional supports to those in need. Even now, your dedication, professionalism, and persistence continues, and you should be commended for that. It is because of your advocacy, your lobbying, your voice, and your efforts that we were able to accomplish great things. On March 17th, the Yonkers Board of Education voted to bring the students back 4 days a week and announced it district-wide. Let us be clear. We want our students back, but we want them back safely. In order for any plan to work, all stakeholders must be partners in the decision-making. And because of you, we were. We were. You provided anecdotes and pictures of building conditions. You sent countless letters to legislators. In fact, last week, you sent close to 4,000 letters in the matter of 2 days. You spoke to the media. You participated in car caravans for funding, lobbied hard for funding and resources, and we called out the district. We shed light on the conditions that existed. We shed light on where the plan needed to be amended. This is what we said, and this is what we need still. We said we need access to vaccines. I'm going to take this off. We need access to vaccines, and we got it. We got priority access to vaccines, and we still continue to get priority access to vaccines, and that's because of you. We said we need voluntary COVID testing, a robust program where students and staff can get tested at least 20% per week voluntarily to help identify community transmission, positivity rates. And just today, the district issued a letter which says we will get it. And that's because of you. We said we need clearer protocols for contact tracing in the event positive cases are found within buildings. That still needs to happen. The district will say, we have clear protocols. We follow the CDC and the Department of Health. Yes, you do. You follow the minimum. That's not good enough for us. That's not good enough for our students. And it's not good enough for their family. Yonkers was one of the hardest hit in all of New York State. The minimum is too little. We said we needed to develop, and we're going to push for this, we need to develop building level teams that include your elected building representatives in addition to other building staff elected by their peers, not hand selected because someone's their favorite.
Yeah.
Okay? To decide what needs to be done. We said, what's the plan? Right? What's the plan for lunch? What's the plan? We're bringing more students back. The CDC now says, oh, we can go 3 feet. We can do 3 feet with masks, but not during lunch. Well, we know the students are eating in the classroom. If they're eating in the classroom and their desks are 3 feet apart, they're pulling off their mask. You can't eat through a mask. What is the plan? District's response is the principals will decide. No, we decide. Together, all stakeholders need to decide. And that's where a team comes in. We need a team where our voice is represented together with administration and parents. We need the district to follow through on accommodations for staff members who have underlying conditions that put them at risk if they catch COVID. And some of these very staff members have been granted accommodations on paper, but it hasn't been provided. It needs to be provided. We filed a lawsuit on that. Unfortunately, we did not win that lawsuit, but we have continued to fight that battle through grievances, and we will continue. And today, we were served with papers. The Yonkers Federation of Teachers was served with papers from the district filing a petition for a stay of arbitration because they don't want to give you the accommodations. They're taking us to court for fighting for people's rights to be safe and healthy. unacceptable. We need spaces for teachers to take mask breaks, to take wellness breaks. We are on all day long. We are working with our families who we love. We are working with our students who we love. But we're entitled to have a space, to have a wellness break, to have lunch. Not to stand outside in the rain to eat your lunch, not to sit in your car to eat your lunch. We deserve a space to eat lunch. And the district will say, well, some schools have more spaces than others and the principals will find space. No, we want a team of teachers who are elected by their peers to take a look at those spaces and figure out where we can have a wellness break, a mask break, a lunch break. That is not unreasonable. It does not cost money. It's the human thing to do. So what we are demanding again is to have a robust testing program, which, by the way, like I said, they said they're going to implement, but we want transparency. We want the results of positivity rates to be posted on a public platform for all to access. That's what we want. It makes sense. We demand teachers have a voice in the decision making that affects our students, and we will not be ignored. Thank you. We have some other speakers today who want to share some of their thoughts as well. So first, I'm going to call on Margaret Coleman. She is a special ed teacher at School 5. Thank you, Margaret.
Thank you. Good afternoon. This month marks 1 year when all of our lives went from everyday routine of educational rigor to a reactionary response to what was dubbed as remote learning. For many of us, our expertise as educators was challenged, and we had to find a way to make things work with little preparedness, unreliable equipment, and novice technological skill sets. We are now in a year in, and for many of us, still remain unsettled. Unsettled because we aren't being heard. The education of students has been politicized greatly. Teachers have been viewed as education blockers. We are not the enemy. We are not the source for students not returning back into classrooms. We're the ones who have made things happen when little was offered. We are the ones who, when life gave us lemons in the form of COVID-19, we made lemonade, stepping up to educate. The push is now for kids to return to learn, but what does that really mean? What is the plan of action to ensure that everyone is safe? As a special education teacher, I'm the first to say that my students need to be in the classroom. However, my classroom is already full to capacity. My students who need movement cannot move around without me feeling apprehensive or anxious about everybody's safety. Classrooms have to be fully functional to receive students. It's not enough to place partitions on desks and to have temperature checks. We deserve to have buildings fully functional. There has to also be more transparency as it relates to the data and case counts within our buildings. We as educators shouldn't feel that we are receiving off-the-cuff responses to our questions. Transparency matters. We matter. Have a great evening.
Thank you, Margaret. Thank you, Margaret. Well said. Next, we have Mitch Pillay. He is an elementary teacher from the Padea 15 school.
Hello, everybody, and hello, everybody. Short statement here, okay? And I'm going to repeat what's been said multiple times. It's a simple message. Teachers want all of their students back. I have not met one teacher that has said, you know what, I like it this way. I don't want the kids back. We all want them back. But I'm going to say it again, we want it safely, and we want it with a plan. Parents and teachers are not the enemy of each other. We both want the same thing. I've spoken to numerous parents from my school. We have a rather active parent community. And I said to them, don't you want to know what lunch and recess look like? Don't you want to know what the bathroom situation is? We're pre-K through 8. Don't you want to know about the bus, arrival, dismissal? I'm taking this off. We have the same concerns. And again, we understand about barriers and student desks and 3 feet. What about arrival, dismissal, lunch, recess, bathrooms? At School 15, and again, we all have our own unique challenges at all of our many different schools, 40 of them. At 15, we average about 220 students a day. Our numbers are going to go up to about 480 students a day. Who's going to take the temperatures? We don't have the staff. What about random COVID testing? Samantha alluded to that. We haven't seen that. So I'm going to be the optimist here. These are solvable problems. This is not insurmountable odds that can't be done, and it could be done quickly. We're just asking that all stakeholders, teachers, administrators, civil service, central office, come together and make a plan. We need a plan. You're going to hear that a lot. We need a plan. So again, let's have representatives from all stakeholders meet, discuss, come up with a workable, safe plan that is transparent and organized so we can safely re-enter. Thank you.
Thank you, Mitch. Next up, we have Dr. Sonia Bird. She is a psychologist district-wide.
Hi, I wanted to speak on behalf of the psychologists and social workers. We welcome our students here at Yonkers Middle High School and all the other schools in the district, and we are here to provide social emotional learning and supports for students, parents, and staff. But we need to be part of the plan, part of the discussion. We want the kids here safely. Thank you.
Thank you, Sonia. Next, we have Kathy Chinnery. She is a general education teacher in an integrated co-teaching class at the Ducero School.
Hi, what I'm going to say is going to be brief, but before I start, I'd like to say the same problem or question was brought to Dr. Quesada for the first town hall. It was not addressed. I put it in the chat. It still was not addressed, so I'm going to bring it up again for the town hall we're having tonight. My school, Patricia Ducero, along with 4 other schools in the district, is disproportionately overpopulated. The pandemic has only exacerbated an already unfavorable situation that is not conducive to effective learning. I am not suggesting the return to segregation, or as it's euphemistically called, neighborhood schools, but we need to make all schools equal by creating a lottery system and a class size cap for all the students in Yonkers. If we continue to ignore this problem, it will be there will have to be a negative effect on all the schools for future generations. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Is there anybody else who would like to say a few words? Okay. So thank you everybody for joining us today. We're going to keep up the fight. We're going to keep pushing to work together, make sure that we're part of the plan. Thank you. Thank you to you. Okay, we're done. Have a good day, everybody.
Ms. Samantha, give us a minute. Ms. Samantha, what you said is pretty clear. You are looking for a plan to re-enter. Now, we heard what you are asking. What is it that the Board of Education is not understanding?
So the Board of Education makes plans, but they're surface plans. They're not detailed plans. In order for students and staff to be safe in a building, we need that level of detail. We need to know what happens at lunch when the students are in a classroom and the desks are 3 feet apart. Are they moving the desks apart? Are they moving the students to the cafeteria? What is the plan for that? And we're asking that the district, or we're demanding that the district not make those decisions in isolation. That we have teams of teachers in the buildings that are elected by their peers working with administration to figure out those details, because that's really what makes a day go smooth.
So you are not part of the decision maker of what's going on at this particular time?
So we met with the district twice, but during those meetings there wasn't that level of detail.
Now, I understand that this morning there was lots of emails between you, meaning your organization, and the Board of Education, Dr. Quesada, and he was answering lots of those questions.
Sure.
Did he answer anything in specifically that complies with your demands?
He did, and we are very pleased to see some of his answers that we received, by the way, just about an hour before we came here. And one of those items specifically is the ongoing testing. That is a big demand that we had. We actually work with our national union and our state union to be able to bring testing to Yonkers without a cost to the district. We're in talks with the district about that. We advocated and lobbied for the state legislators, and the federal funding came in for testing. So one of the answers that he gave is that yes, we are going to go through with that demand.
Now, just to make it clear to our viewers, you don't oppose kids coming back to school.
No, we want students back
in a safe manner.
In a safe manner. Exactly.
Thank you, Ms. Samantha.
Thank you very much. Hello, Jonathan.